Thanks for watching Numbskull News. And today we're getting back into the Big 12 versus Pac-12 versus ACC using my point system to see who comes out on top. Now, if you look around, what you're going to find is a lot of top 25 lists. You know, everyone else has got their power rankings for the Big 12 or for the Pac-12 or for the ACC or for the overall CFB. And what you'll see is a lot of bitching and moaning about why you got this team up here, why is that team up there? And no one has a good answer other than, you know, that's your opinion based on this or based on that. And it really just gets to be a pain in the ass. And I don't pay attention to other lists. I don't care. You know, mine uses a point system. So when you say, well, why is this team up here instead of this team being up there? I'm like, well, because that team earned the points to be there. The other one didn't. It's pretty simple. It's basic math. And I will put a link into the description to a video that explains the point system if you want to know. And with all that being said, let's get started with this week's shit. As always, we're going to start with the Big 12, and Oklahoma and Texas are on top, even with a bye week. That's just how far apart these teams are getting. However, Kansas State scores a nice win for themselves, 18 points, and lands them in third place. Fourth place with 13 points is Kansas. At number 5 is Oklahoma State with 12 points. Now you may ask, why is Oklahoma State below Kansas? They just beat Kansas. Hell, they just beat Kansas State. That's because they're coming from way the hell at the bottom. It took them scoring some nice wins to get just this far. So now they're in striking distance to make some moves. West Virginia falls to number 6 with 7 points. BYU falls to 7th, and TCU makes its way back up to number 8 with a nice win. At number 9 is Houston, who was like bottom dweller sellers, but a nice win against West Virginia gets them to number 9. At 10 is Iowa State, another team that's scoring some wins that no one saw coming. As I said, Iowa State can get you, but they're still -3. At number 11 is Texas Tech. At 12 is UCF with -16 points. Baylor crawls out of the cellar with -27. And at the very bottom is Cincinnati. Boy, Baylor and Cincinnati, they're fighting it out for the worst team in the Big 12. Now we come to the Pac. And man, there was some major upheaval. At number 1, Washington scores the win against Oregon. They're now number 1, have worked their way all the way up to number 1 with 68 points. At number 2, Oregon State crawls right back up the list with 60 points. At number 3 is USC with 57. All right, don't freak out, USC fans. They lost a game to Notre Dame, but Notre Dame was ranked high, so they didn't lose a ton of points. They're right there. At number 4 is Oregon with 52. Then we got a little bit of separation. Utah with 24 points at number 5. Arizona at number 6 coming up. 7, UCLA. At number 8, Washington State. They're going down. And talk about going down. Colorado losing a freaking heartbreaker to Stanford now with -1 point. And Stanford crawls out of the hole. Now, they were so far in the hole. Even with a nice win with Colorado, they're still the 10th team with -26 points. Cal, number 11. And 12, Arizona State, -43 points. Good Lord. And finally, we get to the ACC, number 1 and still number 1, Florida State with 69 points. Number 2 is UNC with 46. Coming up, people. Louisville falls to number 3 with 41 points. At 4, Duke is working its way back up. And now here's the ACC's huge separation, and this is huge. 5 points gets Clemson to the number 5 spot. Georgia Tech, what the hell? They just keep getting these improbable freaking wins. They're number 6 with 2 points. Miami, 1 point. At number 8, NC State, -7. Pitt, how did they win that game? My God. But they're number 9 now with -8. They needed it. At number 10 is Syracuse, -10 points. It's just a downward spiral. At number 11, BC, Boston College. At number 12 is Wake Forest, -13 points. Number 13, Virginia Tech, -18. And of course, bringing up the freaking rear is Virginia with -39. Now we come to week 7's top 25, and the number 1 spot still Oklahoma, 72 points. Number 2, Florida State, no shocker. Washington gets way up in there at the 3rd spot. Notre Dame, I know, 2 losses and they're number 4, but look at who they beat. It's a ton of points. At number 5 is Texas with 60. 6, Oregon State coming up strong. And number 7, USC. They're not going away quietly. Number 8, Oregon still in the top 10. At number 9, UNC in the top 10. Number 10, Louisville still there, but they better not lose more games. Duke coming back up, number 11. Utah, 12. At number 13, Arizona, they're working their way up. Number 14, Kansas State, staying in it. At number 15, UCLA. Number 16, Kansas. Kansas, they got beat, but they didn't fall that far. 17, Oklahoma State. At 18, West Virginia. They're still in the top 25, but they're sliding. At 19, BYU. At 20, Clemson. At 21 is Washington State. 22, Miami fell. But TCU finds its way back to the top 25. And Colorado, it's a die-hard unit, 3 losses, but they got -1 point still in the top 25. And at number 25, holy crap, there's Houston with -2 points. All right, to wrap this up, the Big 12 has 9 teams right now inside the top 25. As you can see, the ACC is cannibalizing itself just like the Big 12 did. And the Pac-12, it's happening there, and that's a natural thing with the point system. You got conference rivalries going on. People are losing games. Maybe they shouldn't, maybe they should, but a lot of times these teams are a little bit equal, so crazy crap's happening. But the Big 12 has got 9 teams in the top 25. The Pac-12 also 9 teams. ACC has fallen, as you can tell, 6 teams now. They were pretty much leading this top 25. Now they're firmly in 3rd place. We'll see what happens. I know people are crapping all over themselves about the Big 12, but there's a lot of parity. In the ACC, there's a lot of bad teams. All right, there's some good teams, some teams that came out of nowhere and they're hanging on, but there's also these inexplicable losses coming out of Georgia Tech, beating people, not just cellar dwellers like everyone thought. It's crazy. But it's just taking chunks out of the conference with that when that happens. Anyway, that's all of week 7. See you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.